It's why probate isn't always bad, and the advantages of selling a house through probate. We get through our whole list coming up. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brendan Moore, Realtor and Certified Probate and Trust Specialist by the California Association of Realtors.
And I'm Bill Heyman. I'm a licensed California professional fiduciary, as well as a licensed California real estate broker and a registered and bonded legal document assistant specializing in probate.
Please like this video, subscribe to our channel. Want your probate done for no fee? Well, every day we help people save thousands of dollars and eliminate headaches with our one-of-a-kind probate administration service and real estate listing combo in California. So please reach out to us with any questions about that or any of your probate real estate needs. Comment on this video, text us, call us, because we can help you. So Bill, there's a common thought that probate is really bad, that going through it is bad, but there are actually advantages of probate, or really when there's real estate involved, selling a house through probate.
Yes.
There's some advantages.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say one of the things that why a lot of people think it really bad is because it can be expensive, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And really, that's not necessarily a misconception. It absolutely can be, but it really depends on how you probate the estate or who you use to.
Yes, big difference.
Right. One of those ways is, of course, well, there's three different ways. There's three main ways. Per, do it yourself.
Right.
High failure rate, pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Can do it. Some people get through it. A lot of the clients that we end up helping are people who really struggled at that.
Yeah.
There's hire an attorney.
Sure.
What would you describe that as?
Well, I mean, most probate attorneys are very good. They do a good job, but they're very expensive. Using a probate attorney is the most expensive way to get a probate done.
There's a statutory fee. It's set in the probate code.
Yes, it is.
About what their fee is. And
Yep.
it's up there.
Yep.
And it may be the right choice for you, especially in contested matters.
Yes, absolutely.
Or there's a less expensive option of a professional service, a non-attorney probate administration service like what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got an uncontested situation, using a service like ours is going to save you a lot of money.
And in our case, and we're very unique because we do a probate, an administration service, and real estate listing combo. So you actually don't charge for the actual probate administration service. There's no fee.
Correct. Yeah. If you are selling a probate home and using our services, you are going to pay zero for the probate.
Bill does this all through California. So if you're in California, look on our contact information and contact us because we can help you. So let's go down some of these other.
Sure.
So timely liquidation, that's an advantage of selling a house through probate.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's the debt settlement. You know, if you sell a home during probate, that brings money into the estate. And, you know, if there's a lot of debts, estate debts that need to be settled, the money's there and you can pay them.
Yeah, that's really a great pro. And it happens you're not waiting to do that or coming out of pocket to do that. You're doing this through the proceeds of the sale. So, and minimizing holding costs, right?
Yep.
The longer you have that property taxes are accruing. You may or may not be paying those. Sometimes people aren't paying the mortgage in probate, which can trigger a foreclosure. And we have some videos on that, where people often think that a bank won't foreclose because it's in probate. There's ways to negotiate this, and you want to reach out to someone competent to do that for you, like us. But minimizing holding costs, getting that home sold as quickly as possible is the way to go.
Just to throw in a little example with just this particular list item here. I had a client about 7 years ago that their father passed away and they were attempting to sell the probate home, and they, for reasons I won't get into, they were just taking a long time to get the home on the market, and they had a $3,000 a month mortgage payment on that home, and it took them 8 or 9 months to get the house ready, and then it took another, at that time, unfortunately, it took about 4 or 5 months to get the home sold because of market conditions. They ended up spending about almost $40,000 in extra mortgage payments on that house. And that's, that's a holding cost that you want to try to avoid.
Yeah, and we have seen cases where the property taxes accruing and were reassessed.
Yes.
We saw one where it was nearly 6 figures in past due property taxes,
Yep.
where the county was going to foreclose, and actually we saved that one from
Yeah.
saved from auction.
Yep.
So really helps to get that done quickly, especially if you start soon.
Yeah. And then there's avoiding deterioration of the home. Anytime a home sits vacant, really for any period of time, it's just not good for the home. And it's not good for the neighborhood either. But when a home sits vacant, problems develop. So you really don't want to let that happen. You want to avoid letting a home sit vacant.
Yeah, sometimes it can attract maybe squatters if it really is
Yes.
that case. So yeah, selling a house through probate gets it done pretty quickly.
Yes.
But let's see, professional assistance. So a lot of times if it's, say, a trust sale, you're usually not having professional assistance in all this stuff, getting the house sold or all of that. Usually a family member is named the executor or the successor trustee. And they're kind of doing it on their own. But through probate, especially through a service like ours, where you're not actually paying for a probate fee, you have kind of like free professional assistance.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's invaluable.
Yeah. And the other thing too that is misunderstood is it's generally not that much more difficult to sell a home in probate versus a regular sale, provided you have the proper authority, which most of the time you do. And again, as long as you have a good professional realtor that knows probate, like Brendan, it's not going to be difficult for you as the family in getting the probate home sold. It's
Yeah.
not.
Absolutely. Just have to have the right team.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it takes a lot of research, as is sale. So they're generally understood as is sales.
Yeah.
And other realtors on the buying side will understand that in most cases in probate, there may not be any funds. You may not have any your loved one who passed away may not have had any money in their account to do repairs. And so they're very, very commonly seen as being as is. They're not going to ask for any of those kinds of repairs.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Buyers generally tend to be, as you said, much more understanding in a probate sale that it's going to be truly as is, that the seller, the estate's not going to do any repairs, probably not going to be any credits, etc. There's a few more things that I'd like to talk about that fit into this video why probate is not such a bad thing. And it really has to do with creditors. When you go through probate, by statute, there's a limited time that creditors can file a claim against the estate. And once you get past that statutory time, that's it. Creditors are cut off. They can never again come back and try to, file a claim. Now, if you're not going through probate, say because you have a trust, and I'm not knocking trusts, but you don't get that statute. You don't get that time period where the creditors are cut off. So that's a good thing about probate. The other thing about probate that's not so bad is when you're using our services, it's not going to cost you anything, as we said at the beginning of this video. So that's a good thing too. The other advantage to probate is that you've got the court watching over everything. The court is making sure that everything is handled the way it's supposed to be. A lot of times, and I've seen this, and I think you have probably too, Brendan, is when you've got a living trust, which doesn't involve the court, and you've got a family member that's the successor trustee and is handling everything, there's nobody overseeing that trustee to make sure that the trustee is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like there is in probate, where you've got the court keeping their eyes on what's going on so that there's no funny monkey business going on with the estate. So probate really is not such a bad thing if you use a service like ours. It's really not.
There's another couple of things I'd like to add in.
Sure.
One of them has to do with disclosures. When
Yes.
you're in probate, you're exempt from certain disclosures. You're typically recognized as you most likely were not, an owner of the home or lived in the home.
And occupying.
Yeah, occupying the home. You likely don't have a whole lot of knowledge about that, and that's widely understood. And there's certain disclosures that you're exempt from. Now, it's a little bit like that in a trust sale as well. But I think it's related a little bit more to probate, when sometimes people are like, should I sell it through probate during the probate process, which I highly recommend, as opposed to selling it after probate closes, which can be an advantage. And there's other advantages to not doing that as well and selling it through probate process. But one of them is once probate closes and now it's in people's names, you're no longer exempt from those disclosures.
Right.
So it increases your liability. But there's another thing. What happens if there's, in probate, you can have one seller, an administrator, court-appointed administrator of the estate, or maybe it's an executor if there was a will. But what happens once probate closes and they kept the house?
That's a really interesting situation because, as you said, if you sell the house during probate, it's just going to require one signature, the administrator's signature, to take care of things. Now, of course, the heirs, they get notified and they get notice of the sale and the terms and all that. But if let's say you got 20 heirs to the estate and you don't sell the home during probate, you say, oh, we'll sell it after probate. Okay, fine. Probate closes. That property goes into the names of all 20 of those heirs. Now, if you want to sell it, you got to have the signatures of 20 people on all the documents in order to close the sale. It's going to be a major headache,
And especially when in most real estate transactions, there's one or two names in just regular real estate. Now you're dealing with as many heirs. So there's really a lot of advantages of selling a house through probate, and it isn't always bad as opposed to maybe a regular sale or a successor trustee sale. There can be certain advantages, especially if you're using our service. So please reach out to us. Something that you may want to watch next, we have it linked. It's a video very fast about the California probate real estate sales process. It's called California Probate Real Estate Sales Explained in 5 minutes.